Right, we're back at Curborough for a full weekend. It's the figure of 8 course today on the Saturday and the 2-lap course on the Sunday. So I have done both once previous. My quickest time on this was a few weeks back, 66.7. Quickest time on the 2-lap one was last year, a 65.9. I think the 2-lap is about a second quicker. So that's the aim for today, another 66.7. The target times for both championships are 64, a low 64, so I aren't going to get anywhere near them. They're set by much quicker cars, but if we can beat or match the previous times, that will be an achievement, I think. The weather forecast is cloudy. The sun's out at the minute, which is good, but it's meant to be overcast, clouding, fairly cool both days, so not ideal, but as long as the rain stays away, we're happy. So yeah, we've had the fans fixed, update from last week. The fans was just a loose connector somewhere in the car, which is good, although they are making a noise, they are getting on a bit, but they're still working. And the aircon is fixed. I need a new aircon radiator, condenser radiator, which looked like the surface of the moon when we took it out. It had been hit by that many craters of boulders and whatever else. Yeah, it was shot. The good thing is that sits in front of the actual coolant radiator, your main radiator, so that takes all the abuse from any stones that fly through the front of the car. But ultimately it had had its life, the aircon had packed in, so we needed a new one of them. So we've got nice cool aircon, the fans are working. It's fairly hot but not too hot, so it's going to be a coolish day. So yeah, no excuses on that front. We'll just see how much grip we can get out of the tyres. In practice, both extremes again, no grip on the slow corners, just can't do anything, but we'll see how it progresses as the day goes on. So this is first time run coming up. We'll see what time that equates to. 68.75. No good, no good. Too drifty. Too drifty. Worse than practice. So we'll see if we can do any better this afternoon. Right, apparently we didn't get a time for that other one, so we are called back down for a rerun. So hopefully the tyres will have a bit more grip now, because I was sliding everywhere. Let's see if we can put a respective time on.
You've got to put a cone back up so it'll be a short break.
Alright.
Did they tell you why you're back?
No time recorded.
Yeah, they set you up too far forward, you were in the beam.
Oh, right.
So as soon as we hit the button, the clock starts.
Right.
So
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
about a second and a half slower.
Yeah, of course it flashed up a time, but it was slower than practice, and I thought, yeah, right,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, equally, while you're here, I just,
Yeah.
your strut does look a little bit low. I'm just going to have a dabble while there's nothing going on. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, alright.
Yeah, we're about there today, and you're up there, so
Right,
you are
sorted.
catching it.
Better, 65, 64. Come on! That just shows you what some heat in the tyres does. Fucking hell, a full second quicker than last time, and it's not even as warm. Come on! Right, we are coming down for timed run 2 after lunch. So yeah, we're going to struggle to beat that first timed run. So we got a rerun because they lined me up over the start line. So as soon as they pressed the button to go, my time was running, even though I'd not actually set off. So yeah, that's why the 68 came up. Lost a couple of seconds there. So we hot tyres, we managed a 65.6, which is a second quicker than a few weeks back. Conditions very similar now. But yeah, that ultimate grip in the tyre needs that heat in them, so we're going to struggle, but we'll give it everything like always. Exactly what we were expecting. A second slower because the ultimate grip just ain't there. We out a rerun, but we give it everything. It still beat last 2 weeks ago's time by yeah, a tenth. So still a good run. I'm just lacking that ultimate grip. We'll see how that puts us in class. See if we're still leading the class after this run. Right, so we're back down for timed run 3. So 66.5 I think in that last one, which was slightly quicker than last time here, so that's good. I think 3 of us did a very similar time, so I'm leading the class. But it is tight as always. Now I ain't going to improve on a 65, not unless I get a rerun again. So we're relying on other cars not improving too much. There's a Porsche GT4 next to me, and that's the main competition. I mean, the car's quicker than mine, obviously, but it's how much he wants to push. So we'll just give it everything, like always, and see what the time takes us. See if we can hang on and win first in class. I think there is 7 of us in class today. last one, 66.3. Grip's definitely getting better. But that's it, that concludes today. So 65.6 the best. Happy going with that. So even without that rerun, we'd have still shaved another half a second off the time from a few weeks back. Perfect conditions now. Car feeling good. Come back tomorrow and do the 2-lap course. See if we can beat last year's time on that. Right, we are back at Curborough for Sunday for the 2-lapper. Slightly different conditions to yesterday. It's a lot cooler, overcast. So yeah, the tyres aren't going to switch on as much. But we have just done a 66 point something, I think, in practice. Conditions very similar to that. There's been on and off drizzle spells, but it's not heavy enough that it's actually wet in the track. So hopefully through the day it'll just blow over. I think it's going to be like this all day. we'll see what time we can put in. So the first target is a 65.9, which is what I did last year, and then the second target is yesterday's time of a 65.6. And then if we do any better than that, that's a bonus. That'll do for a starter. We may have brushed a bit of grass there, we may have gone slightly OTT for the conditions, but we were on it, we were trying. Right, coming down for timed run 2. We may only get this one. Been a long time since the last one. We've had dinner, so we did a 65.5. Can we do any better? So that beats the targets, but the target for the championships is 64, very low. So can we get into a 64? It'd be great if we could. Weather's still same conditions, very overcast, fairly cool. We've had on and off rain spitting like all day. Some people have had it worse than others. So currently leading the class just, but it's all down to this run. Slightly slower. See if we get one more run. We'll see if we can hang on to first place. Right, we are back from Curborough. And great weekend overall. 2 contrasting days weather-wise, but we come away with a first place on the Saturday and a second place on the Sunday. So started on the Saturday with the figure of 8 course, and yeah, weather was glorious, track was warm, so perfect conditions for doing a quick time. On my first run, I got a rerun. Now, I wasn't sure at the time, so I come across the line, got 68 point something, which was the same as practice, and I was really pushing on that run, so I was perplexed, shall we say, at the time. But then when I went back to the paddock, they said, yeah, the timing was off, come back for a rerun. So what happened, if you didn't catch it from the video, is when you start a sprint or a hill climb, they line you up at the start, and they line you about a foot or so behind a timing beam. The light goes green from the starter, and then as soon as you cut that beam, as soon as you set off, your time starts. What they'd done this time is they'd lined me up with the car already through the timing beam. So as soon as the starter man hit the button, my time was going, even though the car had not actually moved. So yeah, when I actually started the car a second or two later, that's the time was already running along. So they said, yeah, we realised that. Come back round. So you hope when you get a rerun that you can get straight back to the start with hot tyres. A lot of places you have to join the back of the queue, and any advantage you've got is kind of lost by the time you get to the start line again. But luckily here at Curborough, there was only a car or two in front of me that called me straight back round, so I knew I would have better tyres, better grip. That manifested itself straight off the start line, so I've been doing 2.9/3 second starts all weekend. Everybody was moaning about getting off the line. There's certain places that are better than others. Curborough's not so great for getting off the line in a 2-wheel drive car. So I did a 2.7 start on that, and you can just feel the grip. Normally when it wheel spins, it didn't wheel spin, so you know that the grip's there. And then it's down to man and machine to utilise that for the rest of the run. Didn't make any mistakes and got a very good time, a 65.6. So the next 2 runs after that, I knew I wouldn't be beating that unless I got another rerun, which didn't happen, and they were both in the 66, which is where I'd anticipated to be. So yeah, really pleased with that after getting a rerun, and it just shows you the advantage of warmer tyres at most places. Certainly had about a second to the time, or a second off the time. So then on to Sunday, different weather conditions, cloudy all day, drizzling on and off all day. The track was never wet, shall we say, but it was damp a lot of the time. Yeah, my runs, it wasn't raining. Other people not so lucky, but the track was never ideal, and with the cool conditions and overcast, there just wasn't the finite amount of grip that there was the previous day. So as a result, nearly everybody that I talked to and times I looked at was very similar to the previous day. So on the 2-lap course we were on Sunday, it should be about a second quicker than the figure of 8. But everybody on the day was doing very similar, almost identical times to the previous day, which just shows you, yeah, that the ultimate grip just wasn't there with the weather conditions. So we finished best run on Sunday. We only got 2 time runs. The best one was a 65.5, which is kind of what I was hoping for. So yeah, not a mega time, but good enough. And it bet me time from last year, funnily enough, which was a 65.9, and that was on the AO52s, although again it was very similar conditions, damp most of the day. So when looking at it like that, yeah, to shave 4/10 off with an inferior tyre is good going. I would say the car is a handful, but it communicates everything. I mean, you've seen on the videos, I'm constantly working the steering wheel, and that's not just for the hell of it, that's to try and correct all what the car's doing, the front end going or the back end going. It looks like on the video I'm just messing about, but you know, trust me, it's to keep the car kind of going in a straight line. But ultimately, when the back end's going or the front end's going and you like that, the steering wheel, it's not the quickest route round. Nice and smooth early on the power is, but the car at the minute's, like I say, can't do that. but still putting in good times and still a lot of fun to drive, especially when it goes into drift mode, which is good. I'm glad I've got a proper mechanical diff. So yeah, we finished first in class on the Saturday, second in class on the Sunday. Very tight at the top between three of us, between myself, a Porsche GT4 and a Golf R. On the Saturday I was first, the GT4 was second, the Golf was third, and then on the Sunday it completely flipped and the Golf was first, I was second and the GT4 was third, but a couple of tenths between us both days, between each position, so very close, very tight, which makes it interesting and keeps that adrenaline going. So yeah, on to Harewood next week, Saturday and Sunday at Harewood at my local, which will be very interesting to see how the car compares to previous years in its current form. And then on a plus note, I mentioned on the video, we've got the fans fixed. That was a cheap fix. It was just a connector that had come out, and the aircon's done. That wasn't a cheap fix. It needed a new radiator and pipework that was leaking, but that's fixed. So yeah, back to the car, close to running perfect. Thank you very much.